Good morning. It is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. I'm on the Paul Bunyan State Trail. I'm about 5 miles from Ackerley, maybe 7 miles from Walker. What I love about this section of the trail is they actually have a sign saying it's going to be painful. It says for the next 8.5 miles, you're going to have an 8% grade, rolling hills. Yeah. You know how much I love hills. So I'll be taking my bike for a walk today. Last night, I stayed in the trailhead over there. And the reason for that was it was too late at night to continue, going on the rail trail. And it was very windy. And I didn't want any tree limbs or trees falling on me. So I slept right next to the sign. The only person who saw me was the person who pulled into the parking lot. Talk about a stealth camping site in plain sight. I wasn't trying to hide, but it just happened to be that way. Anyway, it's time for me to push off and get to Brainerd. Definitely rolling hills. It's a nice ride so far. Still haven't gotten to an 8% grade. Not looking forward to it. But what a nice morning to be out here. Just a nice gentle stream going off into the woods. Rather picturesque. That was an 8% hill. Able to ride it all without taking my bike for a walk. Wasn't bad, relatively short. But if I didn't have all this mileage on, I would have had to definitely walk my bike. Man, it's beautiful back here. And remote. Love it. And the changing of the leaves, not bad. And luckily it's warm out. I really don't even need to wear a flannel shirt right now. I'm just doing that for mosquito protection. Okay, I have to admit, this is a very fun part of the trail. A lot of twists and turns, downhills, uphills. Oh, the uphills are not fun. But it is definitely not boring. Like I said, lots of twists and turns. It's not far from where I spent the night, but what a beautiful view. Nice place to have lunch, breakfast, coffee, or just meet with friends. Yeah, this section of the trail is not disappointing at all, despite the hills. Got a lot of forest friends with me today. Deer, a lot of birds. Squirrels, chipmunks. Haven't seen any rabbits. Warm enough, nothing should be burrowed away yet. It's about 70 degrees, 72 degrees. I was a bit surprised to see a couple out on a tandem bicycle this morning, but it's nice to see others using the trail during the fall. I wonder how much traffic this trail gets during the summer, the weekends when people have time to get out and ride. I just finished the 8.5 mile fun section, with the hills and everything. And at the end, I'm greeted with a shelter. There's an extension of the MRT over there. The MRT I also rode, I believe, in Iowa, maybe Wisconsin. I'd have to look at the map again, but I think I did. But I'm going to take a minute here and maybe make a cup of coffee. I sure need it. Just another scenic lake along the trail. There's a bunch of them. I don't know if I'd go swimming in it. Probably fine. About a half mile from the other lake. When they say Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, they're not kidding. As I get closer to noon, I'm seeing a lot more people on the trail. Quite a few more people. And quite a few more lakes. Again, this is a nice trail to ride. The pavement has been great today. You know, very few bad spots. Unlike yesterday. I mean, yesterday wasn't bad, but today's much better. Today's more scenic, more lakes, like I just said. Coming to Hackensack, you have a visitor center here. Behind that restroom door is a water fountain where you can fill up water bottles. You have a pavilion over there. You have a bunch of little shops. And in case you need Wi-Fi, the library is right over there. And I'm going to continue that way. As I leave the, I want to call it a sleepy little town. It's a tourist town of Hackensack, Minnesota. I think that's the name of the town. There are a lot of people on the trail. There was apparently a decent bike rental shop because everybody was on electric bikes, or there was a group of people on electric bikes. I saw a sign for bike shuttles. So apparently they drop you off or pick you up at certain points along the trail, you know, in case you get tired. And I had experienced that when I first started riding. I really hadn't ridden a bike until 2017, and I would do a half a mile and get winded. Yes, a half mile and I would get winded. Took me a long time to get up to speed. You know, and I didn't do it every day. I pretty much let my bike sit for a couple years. And then 2002 came out. Don't know what possessed me. I got on the bike and I haven't been off of it since. I'm not even a mile out of Hackensack. Again, I think that's the name. Or Hackey, or I'm really bad with names and such. But this section of trail looks like it was just repaved. I mean, it's perfect, and it's just got that, you know, fresh paved look to it. Regardless, it's a nice smooth ride. This is the town of Bacchus. Looks like they got a couple stores, a pavilion where you can sit down and eat lunch, breakfast, or dinner. Small, quiet town. I don't know if there's a bathroom though. Don't see a bathroom, but I do see signs for drinking water, and there's the fountain. It's got a padlock on it. Oh well, but the other fountain right there should work. I just had an interesting lunch. I was back at Bacchus there. Met a retired chiropractor. He had had a serious stroke, and he told me, you know, the evolution of how cycling got him back on his feet again. He no longer does 4,000 miles per summer. He does what he can. He looked great, seemed in reasonable good health. So, wow. Talk about a story of how exercise, physical activity, cycling is restorative. And then we talked about other things, and then he moved on, and another couple came up, and I was talking to them for a while. People in Minnesota are really nice. Kind of like it here. Don't want to move here, of course, it's too flat. If you ever lived in the foothills of mountains, you'll understand that. Definitely a beautiful state, beautiful people. And I love this trail. Both groups, Paul and then the husband and wife that I was talking to told me how this section of the trail was horrendous. And now it's the jewel, because they repaved it last year. As you get to Pine River, you have a shelter, info center, several places to sit down, and plenty of places to get food, supplies, and something to eat. And that's the way to Brainerd. Okay, I'm just down the road a little bit, and I had to get off the trail. It's rutted. It's going to destroy my bike. Why would it destroy my bike? Well, I'm a cycle tourist, and I have, with me on the bike, it's between 350 and 400 pounds. My bike was only made for 300. I just replaced the rims after going 7,900 miles on my previous rims. So I don't want to spend any more money for damage because of pavement issues. I'll re-enter the trail when it becomes more suitable to ride. Okay, I'm back on the trail. Tiny bit better further away from town. Not that great. It's well, as you can see, it's from cracks from weather, and that really degrades performance. Yeah, hopefully they can fix that someday. I don't expect it to happen anytime soon, but it's going to really reduce travel on this section. I don't even want to be on it right now. Again, damage to my bike. This section's a little noisy. I'm going alongside one of the county roads, state roads, don't know which. I mean, it's still nice. I'm not dealing with traffic. Plenty of shade. There was a rough patch back there with the pavement. Didn't appreciate that, but it costs money to maintain these trails. Still much better than riding on the road. So I don't particularly mind riding on the road. Okay, I just saw a mile marker stick saying 36 miles to Brainerd, where Google says it's 28 miles, or 26 miles at this point. I don't know who to believe. I think I'm going to go with the state on this one. So I got about 36 miles to go. I'm dealing with a slight headwind. Not as much in the trees, but anytime there's a field or clear cut, it slows me right down. So I will probably just make Brainerd or camp before it tonight. And one thing is a little sad, since Pine Grove through here, there's very little traffic. I think I've seen one cyclist. Okay, I'm about to butcher another town name. I think it's Paraquet Lakes. Nice town, more riders, more people in the park. That I like seeing. I just met a 72-year-old man walking his 16-year-old, what do you call that type of dog? Small dog. But anyway, interesting chat. He was almost a trail angel. I told him he didn't have to be, so that was nice. But just, I like how people, you know, they're awesome. You don't expect this sort of thing when you start your trip. You hear about it, but you don't think you're going to encounter it so much. And people are awesome. Anyway, I got to do some pedaling before it gets too dark. I'm in Nisswa, right past the fire department, and there's the trail over there. It'll say come back here to the city park. There's bathrooms, pavilions. There is a water fountain back here by the bathrooms in between these buildings. Their hockey rink. But I'll warn you, it doesn't taste good. It's drinkable, but yeah, you might want to go into town and buy something. Instead of using the city park, just come into town. You have a number of shops and such, and you have public restrooms here. I believe this is the Tourist Information Center, Chamber of Commerce, yeah. So these bathrooms are going to be much nicer, cleaner, and in full working order. I just looked at my map. I'm heading into a very secluded area. I don't know how long it'll be before I see a road again, which is nice. The cars kind of get loud at times. And a lot of this trail, it's like this, which is nice. I don't know what the percentage is. It's not 50-50. But you really appreciate it when you're back here by yourself, or maybe with a friend. Right now, the only friends I have are the squirrels. They're a little nutty. Anyway, as I go through this very secluded area of the trail, oh, look at that deer. Just standing there. Or am I seeing shit with my dirty glasses? Nope, that's a deer. There he goes. Yeah, my sunglasses are so scratched. A little hard to see out of them. So, half the time it's like, is that what I think it is? Anyway, this is a very secluded area of the trail. Nothing but me and the animals. My friends, the squirrels. A lot of black squirrels. You know, last time I saw that many were in Washington, D.C., but man, they're everywhere here. And you got your grays, too. Kind of feel like I'm talking about space aliens. But anyway, GPS is just like, we give up. We don't know where you are. It's pretty sad. These routes have been in existence for a while. So, hopefully I get to where I want to go tonight. Find a camping spot. Oh, speaking of camping spots, wow, this section's got some really great ones for anybody who wants to camp. I mean, some flat ground, roll in, roll out, not very high grass. Right now I'm not seeing them, but there were a few spots in the back. I'd camp right there. But even right there is awesome. And what I look for is, again, roll in, roll out. I don't want to see a lot of logs because snakes can hide on either side of the log. Don't want to disturb them. They kind of get pissy that way. There's not a lot of rocks. Again, same thing with the snakes. But let me just show you some areas. This side's a little rough, but over here's a little better. Much better spots behind me. Right there's a good spot. What you don't want to do is camp directly on the trail, meaning on either side of the grass there. And the reason for that is some knucklehead might come down here in a side-by-side ATV, motorcycle, or worse, a car. And next thing you know, you're flat as a pancake. And it wouldn't be a good day for you. Like right here, this is not a good spot. One, there was tire tracks right there, and it's too convenient for a car to swerve into. Yeah, and if you ever see tire tracks, I don't care how old they are, they could look like they were back 2-3 years old. You still do not put a tent there. Okay, I guess I have reached the end. I'm going to go back to the trailhead and do some mapping to figure out where I'm going to go. The trail was only supposed to be 66 miles long. It's not very well marked, but this is the Paul Bunyan State Trail. I'm sure if I continue to go the other way that I'm not facing, it would take me into Branyard and other points. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do of the. Actually, you know what? I'm not that far. Let me go to Branyard. Baxter, heading over to Branyard. I really wish they had some better signs. One of the negatives for the Paul Bunyan State Trail. Same with the Heartland State Trail as well. Signage does help. Because I thought this ran right into Branyard, but it was in Baxter, and I was like, huh? So I'm going to follow this little extension, see where it takes me. I guess that was the end of the trail back there, anticlimactic, because this is now the MRT once again. Not what I was expecting. Crow Wing State Park. Alright, looks like I'm headed to Crow Wing State Park because I gotta go that way. So I'm not going to Branyard, I'm going to Crow Wing State Park, which is correct on my map. So that would be about 12 miles from here. I'll be getting there at nightfall. I now know why there was extra mileage. The Paul Bunyan State Trail goes to Crow Wing State Park. I thought it went just to Branyard, but I kind of knew in the beginning it went further. Oh well, I'll figure it out. Not quite sure what I saw back there by Walmart Baxter. Looked like a guy was shooting up on the bridge. He was definitely homeless, but not 100% sure. He was kind of lumped over, and let's just say I'm not gonna stay around and find out. He was conscious. He was listening to YouTube or whatever. He was moving his phone in his hand. So when I encounter that, I go 5 miles beyond. So I just don't want to deal with them. Alright, for the low light, that's the Mississippi River. I'm crossing it as I head to Crow Wing State Park in the dark. It's only about 7 o'clock. Good morning. It is Friday, October 3rd, 2025, and this is the end of the Paul Bunyan State Trail, the Crow Wing State Park.